Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the amazing La Marzocco, who has been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. That's nearly 100 years of creating innovative, consistent, reliable, and beautiful espresso equipment for coffee shop entrepreneurs just like yourself. They listen to their customers' feedback, and that's why La Marzocco is a household name in specialty coffee and is at the foundation of so many great coffee bars around the world. A great example of this, of course, the KB90 espresso machine with its straight-in locking portafilter technology. It's got the built-in scales for accuracy of your extractions, as well as the auto flush feature, which increases the cleanliness and workflow for your coffee bar. And that's just one of many different types of espresso machines that they have that fit a variety of different kinds of coffee shops. And La Marzocco is available to help you make the right selection for your cafe. All you need to do is reach out to their salespeople by emailing info@lamarzocousa.com, and they can help you out there. And don't forget to check out their website as well, lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who's creating custom branded mobile apps for your coffee shop so that your customers can have the convenience of mobile ordering as well as the experience of your brand that you've worked hard to make and they enjoy. This is something that the industry has just exploded in, the mobile ordering thing, especially after COVID. And you want to work with somebody who is dedicated to the success of small businesses, the independent coffee retailers, and that is Espressly. This is a no-risk model. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities. All of the data is stored in the app, and it also integrates with some of the world's best payment processing systems, including Square. So if you're looking to get an app or mobile ordering for your cafe, definitely look into working with Espressly. To find out more information and to sign up today, go visit them at espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about specific expectations and due dates. One of the things that I find is common amongst coffee shop owners and operators is a desire to lead in a hands-off way and fill the void of hands-on management with certain assumptions and expectations that go unvoiced. So we have lots of ideas about how we want people to do a job, but we don't actually talk to them about it so specifically because in our mind we're thinking, do I really have to tell them that? Do I really have to remind them about that? And if we do, it's just this check mark in our head against that person. And honestly, it's an unreasonable expectation, I think, to think everyone needs to get it right the first time. We are guilty, a lot of us, of keeping secrets, of creating expectations in our heads that we're not actually putting out there in words. And it's not good enough, by the way, to just put it out there in words. Putting it out there in a structured format that helps people succeed in fulfilling those expectations is critical. Specific expectations, especially, are what we want to focus on today. And when you read a job description, for example, okay, this is the first place where we get it wrong. We have a bullet point list of very general things like lead the staff. Okay, well, what do you mean by lead the staff? And we feel like that's a very noble thing that we want managers to do. And we say, okay, you're supposed to lead the staff. Or baristas, you're supposed to clean the bar. Okay, there's lots of different ways to clean the bar. Lots of different ways to lead staff. Some good, some not so good. So every time you give somebody an expectation or a directive, you've got to also have a solution for how that thing is supposed to be carried out. Or else if you don't, you can't complain about the way that they do it. And if you do complain about the way that they do it, then it's proof that you, in your head, somewhere deep down inside, you've got a standard that you want somebody to live up to. You can't live up to a standard that you don't know exists. Remember that. That wouldn't be fair for you. Everybody who owns a coffee shop wants to know about key performance indicators. They want to know about labor cost and cost of goods and all this stuff. Those are standards that you can live by. Now, you couldn't know that you were being successful, at least financially, unless you knew what those benchmarks were. So for your staff, apply the same logic. Their KPIs are based on how specific you are with your expectations, and then the resourcing that you give them to fulfill those expectations. We've been through this a lot with the resources of physical tools, time, training, and knowledge. Those are all the resources that people need to actually succeed in their roles. So it's not good enough to say lead the staff. You got to say, well, when and how and who and by what method. When I help clients write values or job descriptions, it's always going to be based on the idea that here's this thing, and now underneath in maybe a bullet point format, we're going to say how we're going to do that. We're going to do that through one-on-ones, weekly staff meetings. We're going to do that through continued education through this particular resource or this online coffee education membership that we have. You can think about how these things are going to happen after you determine that that's an expectation that you have. I hope that makes sense. It's not enough, again, to simply put it out there and hope people that fill it in the right way, because that just leads to frustration for both you and the staff. Now, when it comes to expectations that you have for projects and other things like getting the schedule done, you need to implement stuff like due dates. Due dates are a great way to give people structure around when you expect things to be done. So you say, okay, every week the schedule has to be done by Tuesday. And that is the day when we expect everything to be published. By the way, if you're scheduling and you are doing the schedule so that it's just like right up to that week that you're scheduling, it's like Friday and people are like wondering, do I work Sunday? I don't know. The schedule's not out. That is one of the most irresponsible and dangerous things you can do for company morale and culture. Your barista's love language first is their schedule. Okay, so for the love of all that's good, please don't keep doing that. Schedule ahead. Get a due date for that. There's a lot of other things that will benefit from having a due date. So if you tell somebody, hey, can you reach out to this vendor to see about pricing and if we can reconcile this variance that we saw in the cost of our cups or the cost of our bagels or whatever it is. Can you do that this week? Great. So if you say this week and they do it Friday at 5 p.m., that should be fine for you because they did it this week. If you're annoyed at that and you wanted to know sooner, you should have told them sooner. Then you should say, okay, can you by Wednesday reach out to that person? Or even today, can you reach out to them? Like after our meeting, can you reach out to them and let me know what they say and check back in with them tomorrow to see? That's giving somebody a due date and giving structure to an expectation. So again, it's fine for you to give non-specific expectations if you want non-specific results. That's your decision. But I get the feeling a lot of us have specific desires that we're just not communicating. So create a structure that is preemptively cutting out the possibility for frustration by being more specific, giving some due dates and structure and timelines to tasks and responsibilities that will help get everybody clear and on the same page. All of this helps eliminate unnecessary tension in the cafe, and we can focus on doing what we really want to do, which is to create great coffee experiences together for our customers and for our staff in our community. So I hope that this was a helpful episode for you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me, and I'll see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.